Well, welcome to District's 38 Voice Fusion on Moments of Enjoyment, hosted by Sue Brooks. Sue Brooks has been a Toastmaster since 2000 and has completed 3 Distinguished Toastmasters Awards, 2 in the traditional program and 1 in the Pathways program. She has completed 13 paths and pathways and is a member of 6 clubs. She has held a variety of club officer and district officer leadership positions. She is currently providing free toast host support to District 38 and serves as Area 32 Director in District 83. In tonight's interactive workshop, she will share various ideas for you and your club to consider making meetings fun. In addition, she will show you how leadership in planning these meetings and events can help you complete your Pathways projects. Please welcome Sue Brooks. Sue?
Thank you so much for the warm welcome, Ann Golden. So grateful to see everybody here tonight. So let's get started. Dr. Ralph Smithly, the founder of Toastmasters International, is famous for one quote that keeps resonating with me, and that is, "We learn best in moments of enjoyment." How many of you have heard that phrase? Terrific. Well, tonight, we're going to go over some ideas to discuss some of these moments of enjoyment. These are tried and true meeting ideas and themes that I've enjoyed in my clubs, and I hope you enjoy them in your clubs as well. Let's talk about some basic housekeeping first. You can raise your actual or your virtual hand if you have a question. You can go down to the reactions and raise your hand. I have Ann Golden with me, who is serving as my Zoom master and chat monitor. So if she sees your hand raised, she will call upon you and let you know that you may speak. You could type questions in the chat if you would like. I have my chat box open so I could see if something comes in. Although I will be looking at the camera and I will be looking at the slides. This presentation will be recorded for your convenience and shared by the district. And at the end, I'll also be sharing a PDF of these slides so you can have them for your reference so you don't have to bother taking notes during the presentation. Here's what you're going to learn. Various fun ideas to make your meetings engaging other than the regular meetings, which you have, whether they're an hour, hour and a half, or 2 hours. I've broken this section into a few parts. The first section will have ideas that are recommended for all clubs. For example, if your club just chartered, or if you have a lot of new members, or if you're a mixed bag, or you're an advanced club or a specialty club. The next section will be ideas recommended for clubs with some experienced members. You absolutely do not want to have a very lengthy, complicated, but fun meeting idea if the people just got started with Toastmasters and are just getting to know what to do and how to do it and each other. And you'll see why I mentioned that. And then some planning tips to help make these fun meeting ideas a success. The other thing I'm going to go over is how you can map leadership of these meetings and participation in these meetings to your Pathways projects. So the first section, we're going to go over the fun things that are recommended for all clubs. And if I'm using some terminology that you don't understand, please interrupt, raise your hand, and let me know, and I'll give you details. First, I want to talk about an inter-club meeting. That is a meeting where your club pairs up with another club. and you share meeting roles. This particular promotion was from a few years ago. And as you could see by the numbers and the graphics and the name of the event, this was an awesome advanced club collaboration. This was hosted by clubs in 2 districts, Peak Performance Advanced Club here in District 38 and another advanced club called Talk of Monmouth in District 83. The person who led this fun activity planned for several months, and I believe she used it as her high performance leadership project. We thought it would be a fun idea to get 2 advanced clubs together, but you could do this with a corporate club and another corporate club. You could do it with a couple of community clubs or even a couple of specialty clubs. And the thought process behind this is that you take one club's meeting agenda and you share the meeting roles. So no one club has to do everything, and you share in the enjoyment and in the work. I recommend that each club have a coordinator on their side. It could be the vice president education, or it could be somebody working on their own pathways project where they want to show leadership, or just another officer, but I highly recommend each club having a coordinator. The meeting date and time is really up to both parties. It could be the regular meeting date and time from Club A or Club B, or it could be a totally different day and time where it's neither club's regular time. Does that make sense? In this case, we met on the 3rd Monday of the month, which was Peak Performance Advanced Club's regular meeting time. Our club only meets once a month, so we chose that one. The next couple of bullets, you see A evaluates B, B evaluates A. And why did I say that? One of the best things that you could do for each other is give the gift of feedback. And when you hear feedback from a totally different voice, a totally different person, that will help you grow. Obviously, you will share your project in advance and you'll have a conversation with your evaluator in advance. Let them know what project you're working on and let them know what special things they should look and listen for in order to give you a comprehensive evaluation. You're probably thinking, why would 2 advanced clubs have a collaborative meeting? Aren't you going for the same guests and future members? No, not really. People can actually join both clubs if they want. A few of us are in both clubs, but Peak Performance meets on a Monday. Talk of Monmouth meets on a Thursday. Peak Performance meets once a month. Talk of Monmouth meets twice a month. There are very distinct differences between the clubs. And what we did when we had our interclub meeting was we shared information on the back of the PDF agenda about each club. So all the guests could find out about both clubs and then make an informed decision whether they wanted to come back and visit one club, the other, or both. So interclub meetings are, I see, Peter, you raised your hand. Yes.
Yes, Sue. I'm assuming that these interclub meetings are by Zoom, but virtual, or are they in person? It would seem a
That
little bit difficult to have it in person if the clubs, meet at different times and are in different locations.
That's an excellent question. Thank you for asking. This particular event did take place virtually, but many years ago, back in 2000, in my very first club, I was in a corporate club. I used to work in Newark, New Jersey, and in that location, there were several corporate clubs. We hooked up with another corporate club that met midday during the lunchtime for an hour, and we met in person. A number of us from my corporate club walked, what, half a block? And we met up with the other corporate club. That was the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. And we had an in-person meeting. So inter-club meetings can take place. There's also another club that I'm a member of. I'm an external partner of a corporate club, but I don't work at that company. They allow up to 25% of the membership to be from outside the company. And that club has a hybrid format, so people can appear in the team's environment as well as in a corporate meeting room. And I do remember them having a shared meeting with another club during the midday. So it can happen. But that is a very good question. Do you have anything else you wanted to ask about organization?
Well, thanks, Sue. I'm thinking that we have the space that we need, and I'm in the Metro New York Toastmasters Club, and we have room for probably about 35 people. We typically maybe get about 20 or so at each meeting. So having it in person, if we did have a number of people from, say, another New York club that meets maybe at a similar time but on a different day, we might have a little bit of trouble fitting everyone in. I guess it's more of a logistical thing, but I guess it could be done. Yeah, it really depends on
It really can.
the location. Yeah.
It really can. And what you can do if you anticipate a huge crowd is you could say attendance limited or first come, first serve, limited seating. I mean, some people do that to generate excitement and make people feel like they have to sign up right away. But in some cases, it really is true. You do have limited seating restricted to the first 35 participants or something like that. You could promote it that way and see what happens. And then after you have your meeting of your event, you can determine, do we need to maybe reserve a different size conference room or have it in another location, and talk about it after you have it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody else have any other questions about the inter-club meetings? And again, as I mentioned in answer to Peter's question, they can be in person, they could be virtual, or they could be hybrid based on the equipment and other logistic matters. Okay. So share meeting roles. Each club has a coordinator. The meeting date and time can be one club's, the other club's, or a totally different time. And definitely make sure that you, as a speaker, get an evaluator from the other club and vice versa. Next, let's talk about theme meetings. Anybody here on the call ever have a theme meeting, any kind of theme meeting in any of your club meetings? I want to hear from you.
Yes, my home club has theme meetings quite frequently. They've had an Air Force meeting. Then we recently had an ADHD Awareness Month theme meeting, so that goes over really well.
That's always a lot of fun. Now here, we had a Halloween theme meeting last year, District 123. Thank you for that, Sadaf. Here's some examples. In this graphic, you can see the big smiles. We have people enjoying this Take Me Out to the Ball Game baseball theme night meeting. And this was shortly before the beginning of baseball season. So what do you do with these theme meetings? This happened to be a virtual club meeting. Sub and Surface holds theme meetings on a regular basis. Thank you, Grisel. this one happened to be a virtual meeting. So what do you do to generate this excitement? Obviously, you promote it, you ask people to attend, but then this club encourages, if at all possible, use of virtual backgrounds. So you could see people have bats, balls, few people are wearing caps. Some people have a background of an actual ball stadium. Depending on your computer's ability to support a virtual background. Another theme that themes throughout the year, holidays. Whoops, you can go back on holidays. There are many different holidays, different cultures celebrate specific holidays, and that's a great way to learn about each other. Lifelong learning, we talked about lifelong learning just a couple of months ago, and people were getting ready to go back to school. It's like, well, we might not be in school anymore, but we're all lifelong learners. And it was a very interesting discussion. Pets, everybody, masquerade party, holiday, annual Christmas party, writers club. Oh, that sounds like fun, Leslie. Pets, people like talking about their pets. And even if they don't have one or used to have one, people are pretty confident being able to discuss the joy that pets bring. New Year. Now, you could talk about the actual New Year that takes place in January, or you could even talk about the Toastmasters New Year, which we've done as well. Club anniversary. Anybody here ever do a theme meeting for their club's anniversary? That's also a good occasion, and you know when your anniversary is, so plan ahead. I want to hear what else. I've seen some really good ideas. Leslie, can you tell us, what does Writers Club mean? Can you come off mute and
Yes.
explain?
Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you so much, Leslie.
Sure. For the Writers Club, we had a number of people who would visit with us in the Advanced Club that I'm a member of, and they would talk about things they were writing. So we invited different people who had written or published and talked about their writing experiences, whether it be getting started or publishing your own book, that type of thing.
I like that.
Oh
And
my
that sort of thing could even generate enough excitement for a potential new club, because I know in whichever district I'm enjoying my meetings, one of the things that always comes up is, hey, maybe we should start a new club because there's so many people who are interested in writing or cycling or food or travel or foreign languages. So there's Peter, yes.
A good anniversary theme meeting would be Toastmasters itself, 100th year anniversary. And I believe the current issue of Toastmasters magazine has some suggested table topic questions centered around Dr. Ralph Smedley and 100-year anniversary. And in fact, next Tuesday, October 22nd, is the 100 years to the day that Dr. Smedley held the first Toastmaster meeting in Santa Ana, California. So have a couple of meetings left in the year that you could use the 100th anniversary of Toastmasters as a theme.
Thank you, Peter. I know Toastmasters has been encouraging districts to hold special events. I know District 38 just had a picnic barbecue. Ruby, I'll get to you in a second. And then other districts are having fun events. But yes, clubs are also having their celebration as something to honor Toastmasters' 100-year anniversary. Let's call on Ruby. What's happening?
Hi. So for the open houses, my club has two of them. For fall, we either have a Thanksgiving or an October themed meeting. And then in the spring, we'll have a spring themed meeting. We actually just celebrated our 15th anniversary since our club was chartered in 2009. And in that meeting, we actually found some of the founding members, and we invited them to just talk about the benefits of joining Toastmasters. So that was really nice, just to get more members in. And then, for example, Olympics, we had one meeting where we had speeches that involved the Olympics. So we've tried the theme meetings also at our club.
Thank you so much, Ruby. I just saw Gary put something in the chat. We had a trial. We put Santa on trial for animal cruelty. And the reason I'm laughing is that what the club in which I'm a member as an external partner, they did that exact thing a couple of years ago. They had a trial and they put Santa Claus on trial for animal cruelty. And the woman who's a current district director, Peggy Seymour in District 83, told me about that. And they said every time they have a specialty meeting in December, some sort of holiday theme, everybody always has a blast. And then they talk about it for years. So thank you for sharing that one. Okay, we can continue this conversation with theme meetings, but you'll see how it also relates to some of our other fun ideas. The next thing, you're not supposed to read this agenda, but I'm showing you as an example, and that's called a speak out meeting. At a speak out meeting, you have speakers and evaluators, a timer, and a Toastmaster. You don't have table topics, you don't have your counter grammarian, you don't have an invocation speaker or any of the other meeting components. Why? Why might a club want to have a meeting full of speakers and evaluators? Any suggestions? You can raise your hand. Joyce.
Okay. It could be like a speakathon where you're trying to get people to finish their levels for pathways.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. A speak out and a speakathon, it's the same thing. Where in this case, this was a special event that was sponsored by two different clubs where we had speak outs for 3 different months in a row, and we had 2 meetings each month. And each of the host clubs had their members get first priority, but then we invited people from all over. And yes, Joyce, that is absolutely true. Having a speak out meeting where you just have speakers and evaluators enables people to make pathways progress. And one of the other interesting things, now this particular meeting went hour and a half or so, could go up to, usually went to about an hour and a half. These speak out meetings, these particular ones were outside of the club meeting. In addition to being able to make pathways progress, I wanted to share another reason for having one of these special events, and that is sometimes in some of the curricula, there are projects which we call the 18 to 22s. If you're working in presentation mastery, prepare to speak professionally. If you're in the engaging humor path, you have to give a longer keynote humorous speech. There are other projects that go 10 to 12 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes. And having a speak out meeting enables you to have the comfort of taking a speaking spot without impinging on your regular club meeting. One of the nice things about the way these speak outs are organized is you have speakers evaluate each other. So there's skin in the game. It's not like everybody just wants to sign up and give a speech, but nobody wants to give an evaluation. If you participated in this speak out program, you go in there knowing that you're going to be a speaker and you're going to be an evaluator. Everybody often has lots of fun, and people wanting to participate in the series also agree to serve as timer and Toastmaster. And also, again, to give everybody a fair shake at having an opportunity to give a speech. the facilitator restricts participation to 2 speeches per series of the 6 meetings. So of the 6 meetings, you could be a speaker twice. The other meetings, you can be a Toastmaster, a timer, or just come and listen to somebody else. Does anybody have any questions about the speak out meetings? Think about it. If that will work for your club, it's a lot of fun. It's good to have, as Joyce said, to help people have an opportunity to complete a level, to complete a path. Sometimes you just need like one more opportunity and you'll finish. Next up, Joyce, yes.
The other thing is to have different evaluators, because sometimes we get comfortable with the evaluators within our own club. And if you're doing something special and have an outside evaluator, you get a new perspective.
Absolutely. And here, this particular speak out, looks like we had 9 different people. Not everybody is all in the same club. I might be in a club with Thane and Ann and Peggy, but I'm not in the same, and Emery, but I'm not in the same club with Vanessa and Denise and Ravi and Jenny, who's labeled a Toastmaster. So speakers and evaluators were able to have that gift of feedback. I was able to evaluate Vanessa. Vanessa was able to evaluate me. You get the point. You're getting that fresh perspective. Gary, yes.
One meeting that my club uses occasionally is what we call the rookie meeting. And it limits people's roles to a role they have never done before in that club. Good way to get some of the newer people to step up and do things.
Take on a new role.
And if you have a club where everybody has been in forever, maybe what you do for the rookie meeting is say it's got to be a role you haven't done in the past year.
I like that. That's a great suggestion. For those people who use Free Toast, I'm sure it's the similar or the same in Easy Speak or some of the other tools. You can actually run a report on yourself or any of your other club members and see how often you've done a particular role. There's one fella would always take on the role as timer. Always. Did he ever give any speeches? I don't recall. He was also a very good evaluator, but I remember he'd always raise his hand for timer. So it's the same thing, getting people out of their comfort zone and perhaps taking on a different role. So thank you for sharing that and the idea of a working meeting. Here's another one, an all table topics meeting. Anybody here ever have the experience in their club where you don't have any speakers because something happened? What happened, Joyce? Tell me.
No, it just that you didn't have anybody sign up to do a speech, so you can do extended table topics. And you might do even round robin table topics where everybody has to come up with a question.
Oh, I like that one. We've done that way. We've done story threads. We've done the round robin one is terrific. But this is a specific, here's another idea. A specific planned meeting where you know you're going to have all table topics. And the vision for this particular meeting goes as follows. 2 people act as table topics master, during the meeting, depending on the meeting length. The particular club I'm referencing is a 2-hour meeting. Obviously, if your meeting is an hour or an hour and a half, you could adjust appropriately. Maybe you don't want to have 2 people. But in this case, since it's a 2-hour meeting, allow 2 different people to sign up as table topics master. Each of them will get credit for the project called active listening. Now, that particular project is required in 2 of the paths and pathways, and it's an optional elective in others. So anybody can sign up to be table topics master as a speaker role, and then they will get evaluated. You assign 2 different evaluators. You have your table topics from person A. Perhaps you take a break, come back. You have your table topics from person B. And then after, because they've been listening and because they've been replying to each of the participants, but not repeating everything they said exactly, their evaluators will then present an evaluation on how well they listened. That is a great way for people to have a lot of fun with table topics, and for the table topics master to get credit towards pathways. So that helps 2 different people that night. The other thing, yes, you can have the table topics speakers evaluated too. Thank you, Ian Golden. That's also another fun thing. One of my advanced clubs does that here in District 38. So there's also different ways to have fun. And again, remember earlier in the program, we were talking about theme meetings, same thing. If you're having an all table topics meeting night, you can have them as themes. You can even have 2 different themes. Table topics master A can choose one theme and table topics master B can choose another. And as some of the participants were stating tonight, another way to have fun with table topics, not necessarily with the active listening project, but you can also do story threads where somebody starts a story and then subsequent people have to continue the story. Or, as Joy said, you can have round robin table topics where we go around in a circle and just keep calling on the next person to answer a question. Any other ideas for fun table topics? If you want more information about this, we can talk about it after. Next up, here are some advanced ideas, and these are recommended for clubs who have seasoned members along with newer members. And you'll see why. You don't want to intimidate brand new clubs that just chartered, people where the majority of the membership are relatively new Toastmasters, and that is a backwards meeting. A backwards meeting. Somebody's like, that sounds intimidating. What do you do? What if I mess up? What? And they start panicking. When you decide to have a backwards meeting, first define what backwards meeting is and what the expectations are. You start from the back or the end of your agenda and you work your way forwards. Let everybody know, especially the evening or the day of the meeting, what the expectations are that evening, but also tell everybody in advance. Notify your membership. This is a backwards meeting. This is what we're going to do. They must have canceled the other meeting. Okay, Allison, glad you're here, back here. And if you do have guests at your meeting, let them know this is a special event. We don't usually run our meetings this way. We're doing this to have some fun. In most meetings that I've ever attended, the speakers speak and then the evaluators evaluate the speeches after. However, in your backwards meeting, the evaluators go first. And what they do is present, and I put the words in quotes, a fake verbal evaluation. For example, if I were evaluating Ian Golden's speech, I would say, Ian, wow, that was an amazing speech you gave on your favorite book and why you love reading. I really enjoyed how you took us from the start, you built up to a climax, and you tied it up neatly at the end. I do suggest you slow down a little because you got really excited. So you see what I'm doing? I'm giving Ian a fake evaluation. I didn't hear her speech. I don't know what was in her speech. I'm just making it up on the fly. And that's what the evaluators have to do. Next, the meeting progresses, say you have table topics, and then you come to the front of the meeting where you have your speakers. And here's the challenge for the speakers. The speakers hopefully were listening to the fake evaluations, and their challenge is to use some of the feedback on the fly during their speeches based on what their evaluator let them know about with the fake evaluation. But then, because we're interested in making pathways progress, and even though we're having lots of fun and challenging ourselves and stepping out of our comfort zones, the speaker really does need real feedback. So the actual written evaluation takes place after the meeting, and the assigned evaluator gives the speaker real feedback in addition to the fake feedback, and they can let them know how well they did. So it is a legitimate project. Does anybody have any questions about this challenging experience? Ruby?
So, in advance, both the speaker and the evaluator would know what project and what level.
Yes, they
Okay.
would know what project and what level, and you could even have a discussion with your evaluator if you're the speaker and say, could you just watch my pacing? And then the evaluator may or may not bring that up. But yes, they do know what project they're working on. And what I did one time when I was facilitating one of these backwards events is that I took an actual agenda, and because this particular club works with free toast, I literally moved each agenda item to the opposite place in the hierarchy. And then I had a paper printout, and as I moved it, I crossed it off just to make sure I didn't lose anything. And then I had one of the other officers take a look at it and say, could you take a look? Did I miss anything? Is anything out of place? Because even though professionally I work as a proofreader, I didn't want to make any mistakes. So it's always good, no matter what your profession is, to have somebody take a look at what you did before you share it with the other members of the team. Any other questions on the backwards meeting? Again, let everybody know in advance what the expectations are, what kind of fun you're going to have, and the results can be hilarious. Let guests know it's a special event so they're not confused. Evaluators will give your fake evaluation. Speakers, try to use some of the feedback, and then please, evaluators, send your real evaluation to the speaker after. Here's my fun April Fool's Day story. One April, I attended one of my club meetings. It was in person. I was the assigned speaker that day, and I couldn't wait to share my speech with the whole club. April Fools, the joke's on me, because I walked in and they said, we're doing a backwards meeting. My jaw dropped. I was all set to give my speech in the first 10 minutes of the meeting. I didn't want to wait 50 minutes. Oh, well, the joke's on me, April Fools. But I did wind up delivering my speech, and I think I even included a little bit. I can't prove my homework. It was a lot of fun. The joke was on me, and I did include some of the feedback. I was a little perturbed at first, but that was the note taker, Ian. Okay, Peter.
Yes, how would you do table topics backwards? So would you have people answer a question without the question being
Ah,
posed, and then everyone I guess the table topics master would then form a question based on what answers people gave, sort
That's
of like Jeopardy.
I was just gonna say, kind of like Jeopardy. One of the that's one way to do it. The other one is just to have table topics in that spot, but it's a different time of the meeting. But yes, that's another challenging way to add fun to your meeting, and then have the statement, and then somebody would then turn it into a question, much like Jeopardy. In fact, at one of my club meetings last night, our table topics master did just that. He put the table topics prompts down, and the person who answered it had to answer it in the form of a question. It was very funny. But people have
Thank
to
you.
know what the game Jeopardy is, because believe it or not, not everybody grew up in this country, and not everybody watched Jeopardy. So you do have to give a little bit of background. Thank you, Peter. Next up, grab bag meetings. Anybody here ever do or participate in a grab bag meeting? Do you want to know what it's all about? Okay, I'll let you know. A grab bag meeting is a lot of fun, and you have no idea what you're going to be doing that night. I'm saying night because this particular meeting took place at night, until you get there. It requires a lot of advanced preparation and, again, communication to your club that this will be a grab bag meeting. As you can see, everybody's having a lot of fun. You need to get advanced RSVPs. Why? So you know how many people will be participating. You don't want to have 4 speakers and 4 evaluators in the grab bag choices if you're not going to have that many people attending the meeting. You might want to have a pair of 2 or 3. So get your RSVPs in advance. My recommendation is to allow an extra half hour at the beginning of the meeting. That's what I did when I planned mine. The particular grab bag meeting I attended was online, but this can also be done in a hybrid format, or if you meet in person. If you meet in person, you can have an actual bag or bucket or any other or hat object that holds slips of paper or things that have printed on them what the meeting rule is. At the given time, choose roles. First come, first served gets to choose a slip of paper from the bag. Or in the case of the online meeting, we had a presentation board, a PowerPoint, and the person had different pictures of beach objects because we're down by the shore and everybody likes having beachy kind of things in the summer. So they were all beach themed things. And once you clicked on the beach theme, it revealed what your role was going to be. So you spend half an hour choosing the roles, first come, first serve. And then once the speakers and evaluators are paired up, allow them to chat in a breakout room so they know what the project's about. And the person who's the coordinator or the Toastmaster takes these pieces of information and populates the agenda in that first half hour. How do you prepare? Anybody know? I'll tell you. There are a few roles for which everyone must be prepared. You must be prepared to be a speaker, so everybody has to come in with a speech. Everybody must be prepared to be the table topics master, so you must have a collection of table topics prompts. And everybody must be prepared to be the grammarian counter. In our club, we combine the role. So the grammarian also serves as the word master. So you have to come in with a word of the day. So those 3 roles, you have to be prepared. So every participant comes into that meeting knowing that they could be called upon to perform any of those roles. So what do you do if you prepared a speech and you're not called upon to speak? Save it for the next meeting. Nothing lost. And then once you start, you share the agenda either electronically or make sure everybody has has a chance to write down what the things are. I've also seen it done where people write on a whiteboard or a flip chart and people can write down what they are going to wind up doing. The other thing that we recommended in terms of advanced preparation is to have all the speakers come in with their speech information written down, like their introduction and their path and their level and all that. So once the person who's populating the agenda, they don't have to first start saying, where's your introduction? What speech are you doing? You know, it's all there in a document, so it could be shared right away. So there's no scrambling. Anybody have any questions about a grab bag meeting? We had a lot of fun. It takes a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. And somebody could use that as a Pathways project. Next up, debate meetings. Anybody here ever do one? We did just the other day. This was from Talk of Monmouth, one of the advanced clubs in District 83. And you can see we had a lot of fun. Did you know Toastmasters International has a debate meeting handbook? So I put this information on the slide so you can download it later on if you'd like. The reference is here. And it walks you through a debate meeting where two people support a statement in the affirmative and two people take the negative viewpoint. All statements that you're debating begin with resolved that, and then you make the statement. The one we talked about the other night was resolved that students should be taught cursive writing in school. There's a lot of people, young people these days, who do not know how to read cursive writing, and they do not know how to write it. Anyway, this is probably the fourth debate meeting that this club held, and we always have a lot of fun. We did indeed use the debate meeting handbook that we got from Toastmasters International. And speakers, you have 4 different speakers, but evaluations are not part of the debate. However, what we've done to allow people to make progress in Pathways is we assign everybody, each speaker, an evaluator, and they are evaluated offline, verbally, and given a written form. The other thing we do is we get judges in from outside of the club to judge whether the affirmative or whether the negative prevail. It's a lot of fun, it's a lot of work, and you hear some very interesting speeches. Some of the speakers are able to use the project called Researching and Presenting, in addition to a host of other possible topics. And if you have any questions about the debates, I'll be happy to talk to you about it when the program's concluded. Next steps. For all these special projects, I recommend that you poll the members of the club for ideas. See, it's not just restricted to the officer team or the VP Ed. Other members of the club might have ideas on how they want to make meetings fun, or you can bring some of these meeting ideas back to the club and ask which ones resonate with you. Which do you want to try first? Now, individual members might have an event they want to lead or facilitate as Toastmaster for that event. So it's not just on the VP Ed. And once the team receives the feedback, then the VPE and the other officers can decide on a sequence or cadence. Okay, let's have 4 fun meetings this year. Let's wait until the spring to do the debate meeting because it might take time to plan, etc. Any questions about planning? Next up, Potential pathways projects, that's alliteration, by the way. Manage online meetings, that's one opportunity. Depending on the depth and breadth and scope, it could even be a high performance leadership or HPL project. The one where we had the advanced club collaboration, the awesome advanced club collaboration was a high performance leadership project because it took the facilitator several months and several meetings to get that organized. Motivate others, team building. And you also have prepare to speak professionally. That might be another option, one of those longer speeches. Anybody have any other ideas on potential pathways projects for these special events? Okay, well, you could think about it. And if you have any questions after tonight's session, do you think it'll work? Could we use this project? Be happy to provide feedback. Okay, family photo. When you have these terrific, and I mean terrific, events, don't forget to capture the event. Take a family photo. And what you do before you snap that photo is read the opt-out text, which is, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a family photo. To be in the photo, you can keep your cameras on and your smiles on. And if you don't want to be in the photo, you could turn your camera off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing. I'll share again a little later. And now we're going to take the family photo. So to keep your cameras on, you'll be in the family photo. And I'll give everybody a moment to be in the photo. If you don't want to be in the photo, keep your camera off. And I'll give you a prompt on 3. Gary, can you come on camera or you don't want to be in the picture? 1.
I don't have a camera.
Okay, I don't see you.
I don't have a camera.
Oh, you don't have a camera. Okay. 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you so much. Right, gonna go back to the share. And you have your family photo. And then if you're having fun with Photoshop, you could touch it up if necessary. And then you could share it with your team. And then you can use it on your Free Toast Toast website. You can use it in future promotions. You can use it to share with everybody what fun you had and opportunities for future fun. Okay. Time for participation from the audience. What is one thing that you will bring back to your club or clubs as a result of today's training? You can put your responses in the chat, please. Debate manual provided by TI. Thank you, Leslie. Table topics, 2 table topic masters, theme meetings, PDF of slides. I'm going to give you that. Theme meetings sound fun? Yes, they are, Angel. Share these wonderful ideas, come up with a yearly calendar. Yes, 1 fun session per month, Sadaf, absolutely. Speak outs, yes. And for more information, I'm sharing my email and my LinkedIn. So if you want to connect, we may do the interclub. Absolutely. That's so much fun. And you know, when we've had the interclub meetings, the other clubs have always said, you know, that was fun. Let's do it again. So we have it on our radar to do them. Backwards meetings, other ideas to bring to club. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop share. And I'm going to give you the PDF of the slides right now. Open. Send. It helps if you say you're going to share the slides if you actually hit the share button. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your attendance and participation tonight in Moments of Enjoyment. This is part of the Voice Fusion series hosted by District 38. I want to thank Michelle Westgate for organizing this session. And I want to thank Ian Golden for being my Zoom master, friend, partner in crime, and overall wonderful, wonderful person. I thank you all for attending, participating, and I'm glad that you all had a great time tonight. Thank you and have a good night.